The evening began with tension in the air. Ethan Cole, one of the youngest self-made millionaires in New York, sat quietly in the back of his limo, staring at the city lights. To the world, he was a polished CEO, a man of power and control. But inside, he was just a tired father raising two 6-year-old twins after his wife's passing. For months, his board, his assistants, and even his closest friends had whispered, "Ethan, you need someone by your side. The kids need a mother figure. You can't do this alone." But Ethan wasn't looking for someone impressed by his wealth, his name, or the number of properties he owned. He wanted someone who would look past the Armani suits and the private jets. Someone who could love his kids as much as she could love him. That's when he got the idea. On this blind date, arranged by a mutual acquaintance, he would go not as Ethan Cole, the billionaire CEO, but as Ethan, the struggling single dad who worked 2 jobs to make ends meet. He swapped his suit for a plain shirt, traded his limo for an old second-hand pickup truck, and even borrowed clothes with grease stains to look like a mechanic. His children, Lily and Max, didn't understand why their dad wanted to play this game, but they trusted him. The restaurant was modest, nothing like the 5-star hotels Ethan usually frequented. When he arrived, she was already there. Her name was Claire. She was beautiful, yes, but not in a showy way. She had kindness written all over her face, the kind of smile that could soften even the hardest days. Still, Ethan noticed her pause when she first saw him, her eyes flicking from his worn shoes to his patched-up jacket. Most women would have already judged him. But Claire didn't. She leaned forward, offered her hand, and said softly, "You must be Ethan. I'm so glad you came." Through dinner, Ethan stumbled through his cover story. He told her he was a struggling father, working at a garage by day and doing delivery runs by night. He admitted, half truth, half fiction, that money was always tight, but he wanted to raise his kids with honesty and love. To his surprise, Claire didn't recoil. She didn't pity him either. Instead, she leaned in and asked, "So, how do you find the strength to do it all?" Raising twins, working non-stop, and still smiling. Ethan felt something crack inside him. No one had asked him that in years. Not his investors, not his board members, not even the people closest to him. They only ever cared about profits, appearances, and schedules. But this woman, she saw the father, not the fortune. Halfway through dinner, Ethan excused himself, and when he returned, his twins had joined. He had arranged for them to, accidentally, show up, just to see how she would react. Little Lily tugged on Claire's sleeve shyly and whispered, "Are you Daddy's friend?" Claire bent down, her eyes level with the little girl, and said gently, "I hope so. And maybe yours too, if you'll let me." Ethan froze. His son, Max, usually shy and withdrawn, reached out and took Claire's hand without hesitation. And for the first time in years, Ethan saw both his children smile freely at a stranger. That was the moment everything shifted. He realized this wasn't about him anymore. This was about the 2 little hearts sitting beside him, their laughter, their trust, their happiness. And Claire, without knowing anything about his wealth, his empire, or his reputation, had given them something priceless. A moment of joy. At the end of the night, Ethan drove Claire home. He sat in that old truck, heart pounding, unsure if he should reveal the truth. But then Claire said something that silenced his fears. "Ethan, I don't care how much money you make. I care about how you treat people. And tonight, I saw a man who loves his kids more than anything. That's worth more than all the riches in the world." Tears stung his eyes as he realized she had passed the test he didn't even know he was giving. The next morning, Claire woke to find a black car waiting outside her modest apartment. A chauffeur handed her a note. "Claire, there's something you don't know about me. Come to this address." Ethan. Nervously, she arrived at a towering glass skyscraper in Manhattan. The nameplate read, Cole Enterprises. Inside, she saw him, not in patched clothes, but in a tailored suit, surrounded by assistants and employees who treated him like royalty. She stared in disbelief. You're not just a mechanic." He walked toward her, the twins running ahead to hug her legs, and Ethan smiled. "I wanted to know if you'd still care about me if I had nothing. Now you know who I really am, but more importantly, you know who I am when I have nothing. And that's the man who wants to build a life with you." Claire's eyes brimmed with tears as she looked down at Lily and Max, holding her hands tightly as if they already knew the answer. And with a trembling voice, she whispered, "Yes, Ethan. 1,000 times yes. For the first time in years, the CEO who had everything finally felt he had something money could never buy, a family complete again. Sparkle's closing narration, YouTube style. And so, what began as a blind date filled with disguise turned into a story of truth, love, and the realization that the richest hearts are not measured by wealth, but by kindness. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, because sometimes, a simple act of kindness can change everything.